Welcome back, everybody. It is me, Marquise G, and you're back for another episode of G's Gems, where we're talking everything career, reality, and motivation, and of course, dropping a couple of gems along the way. This is our birthday episode. Woo! I wish I had like streamers or confetti or something. Just drop it. It's my birthday, or sometime after, I don't know. But no, this is our birthday episode. I am 26. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a big chapter in life. I can feel it already, but it will be great. It will be a good one. But in this episode, so the past 3 episodes, I've talked about different lessons that I've learned in this past year, as I approach this big age of 26. But this episode, I wanted to change it up, have a little bit of fun, because this channel, this segment, all this, just everything I do in general is really about just being open and transparent and being as honest and vulnerable in my journey as possible. Again, to have a discussion, to help other people. If anything, because a lot of the things that I experience, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one experiencing them, or I have to go about it alone. And sometimes after I have conversations with other people, I realize that this is not a singular experience. We might not all experience certain things in the same way, but we kind of experience a lot of similar things. So if anything, that's what this is all about. So on this episode, Tirus is going to ask me questions. I've given him free range, all clearance to ask me any question he wants. I feel like I bared my soul a lot on a few of these episodes. So I think at this point, I've pretty much established that I am an open book. So I'm giving Tirus the floor to, I didn't even tell Tirus to say hi. I mean, you heard him clap, but we didn't say hi. There's the hand. Hey to the people. So yeah, Tirus is going to ask me any question, questions he wants to know, questions he thinks you guys might ask. I don't know. He's just going to ask me questions, and I'm going to answer them truthfully.
I think I'm going to ask a simple question and see how that
that
goes.
Okay. I don't think you understand. Like, I really will. A lot of people think that I'm very shy or secretive or anything like that. I'm really not. I don't go around just offering information. I'm not one of those type of people. But if you ask me, I don't care. I don't say anything. So, okay. We'll see how. I'm scared now, but we'll see how this goes.
It'll be very simple. Okay. So I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
I want you to think 365 days in advance.
In advance?
Yeah.
So
from
that
in the future.
Okay, in the future. Okay.
What are your expectations? Where do you hope to be?
Wow.
As your eyes are closed, where do you see Marquise G in this 365 days of after turning 26? So I guess on that 27th birthday, where do you see yourself?
Okay, this is a really good question. One, am I talking into the mic? Make sure I'm still talking into the mic.
You can open your eyes again.
Okay, no, I got to do it close because now I got to go through the visualization. Visualization is good.
I want you to really visualize the different steps that you plan on taking and the different events that you plan on planning and just the different things that you plan on checking off of this check marks. This, I don't know if you have a real check mark or checklist, but just this hypothetical checklist. Where do you see yourself in these next 365 days?
Okay, love this question. I love everything about this. This actually makes me more excited about turning 26. So next year, in the next 365 days, I'll be 27. So 27 is my golden birthday. I'll be 27 on the 27th. So I feel like 27 is going to be my pre-30 a little bit. And so I feel that I see myself being very much so established. I see myself being, more alone, I will say, not in a bad way, but I think that I'm going to be very much in a lane where I have to be super, super focused in some way, shape, or form. G4 is definitely going to be in a way, way, way better position in the public space, financially. I feel like this time next year, really before I really get myself into like maybe July or August of next year, that I will be 100% operating only in G4. I think that I'm definitely going to have some major projects under my belt, which I'm really excited about. And I'm not even saying excited like I'm in the process of working on them now. Like this is what I feel and what I envision. I do think, oh my gosh, I keep bumping into this microphone. I think that I think I might be in a relationship next year. Lord, I hope. But I think I might be in a relationship next year, definitely. I think just next year is going to be a big year for me in my career more than anything. I think next year is going to be a big career year for me. And that's what I see in 26. I think 25 was a lot of just like sowing a lot of seeds and setting the foundation and discovering myself and figuring out exactly where I wanted to go. And I think 26 is going to be really being able to operate more in that and, really, really setting the stage. I don't know. That's kind of the same thing as setting the foundation, but more so kind of just like building on top of that foundation. Like it still might be a little bit of setting the foundation, but I'm going to be doing more building on top of it and being able to move a little bit further than I once was before.
That was a great answer.
No, that was kind of long-winded. I'm sorry, but
no, that was perfect. Do you have any fears stepping into this new year of life?
Oh, yes. The only fear I have is getting older. Oh, my gosh. It just doesn't seem real to me that I'm getting older. And I don't know if it's just how things have transpired or how I am around other people, or I don't know. But just I don't know what I feel age-wise. I don't even know what an age feels like. But I just I don't know. When I hear 26, I just hear 30. Like 26, 27, 28, 29, I feel like it's irrelevant. I feel like it's when you're a teenager, you have 13, you're actually a teenager for real. And then you have like 15, it's kind of like, okay, if you're Latino or Hispanic, you have a quinceañera, so that's like a big deal. But like 14 is kind of like, okay, you're 14,
Yeah.
And then you have 16, which is like, woo, big sweet 16.
And it goes back down.
And then it's just like, okay, you're 17, okay. But then you turn 18, and it's just like, ooh, kind of legal in some aspects. Then you turn 19, even 19 and 20 is kind of just like, whatever. Then you turn 21, so it's just like this ebb and flow. So I feel like I'm kind of like in my valley age of years, except 27 because it's my golden birthday. But I feel like when I hear 26, I just hear 30. I really just hear 30. That's all I hear. Even like one of my family members keep asking me like, "Dad, you about to be 30?" And I'm like, I have 4 more years. Can y'all chill out? Like, good grief.
It is kind of close.
I'm knocking on the door, but we still got a little bit of time. Like,
right,
chill.
Right.
But other than that, I really don't have any fears. Like, in all honesty, of course you still have, I feel like your everyday fears of just like, is this going to work out? Am I making the right decisions? But I just feel like those are your everyday fears that just come with life. But I don't have any fear that's like putting me in a state of paralysis. Like, I really feel like I'm in a state of just general peace in my life. Of course, everything isn't picture perfect or how I want it to be. But in general, I don't think I could ask to be in a better place right now. So I don't think I have any major fears.
Are you content with where you are?
Whoo! I would say now in this day, yes. I think, and especially going back to those 3 lessons that I learned over this year, I would say yes. I think as the year comes more to a close, and like I said, the colder months put you in a little bit more seclusion, making you reflect a little bit more. I think I'm becoming, and just accepting that I am getting older, and at some point something has to change. So I think that being more resolved with that, I do feel a lot of contentment. I will say there are definitely some things that I won't say like I'm not disappointed in myself, but of course, you know, hindsight's always 2020. And I think there are things that I wish I would have let go of sooner or put more energy into to get a little bit further ahead. But I'm also a firm believer in everything happens for a reason and in its proper timing. So really leaning on that mindset gives me more peace or allows me to be more content with where I am, because the only thing I can do is learn from it and do better moving forward. So now that I know how to do better and what I'm capable of doing, it's just like I feel unstoppable.
If we look back to 5-year-old Marquise, what do you think that she would think of you today?
Man, that's wild, because I really don't have any memories of my childhood.
What's your earliest memory?
Like 2nd grade, maybe, and I think you were like 7 or 8 by the time you were in 2nd grade. Yeah, so I really don't have many memories up until that point. And even then, it's kind of like
a blur.
Yeah, it's kind of like spotty in and out. Like I kind of remember certain things and not others. But if I would say anything, I would say from that perspective, and this is going to sound really vain when I say it, but I don't think 5-year-old me would be surprised. I think 5-year-old me would be like, I knew it, you know? I think that because, and I was telling my mom this a while ago, there are so many things that I vividly remember dreaming. I feel like I always was a dreamer of what my life was going to be. And there were so many things that I remember saying I wanted to do, or I wanted to have, or I wanted to be. And in some way, shape, or form, I've kind of done a lot of those things. And even if I haven't done them in the way that I thought I wanted to back then, it's even better than I could have imagined it. And if I haven't really touched them in the way that I either at all or how I wanted to, I know how to do it and get there now, you know? Like I remember as a kid, I think maybe up until I was like 12 or 13, my birthday's in the winter. So it's always very hard to do something really fun and exciting for my birthday. And so we used to do like a lot of like hotel parties and stuff like that when I was a kid. And we used to like just travel a lot with like my grandma and even my parents and stuff. And so I've always been very obsessed with traveling and hotels specifically. So I remember every year for my birthday and for Christmas, because it's kind of close, I would ask for a hotel and a limousine, but not like I want to go to a hotel and ride in the limousine. Like I wanted like my own hotel, like the whole building, and I wanted a limousine. So I was thinking about it, and it really kind of hit me in 2020 when I came back from DR. But I was thinking about it, I'm like, dang, I lived in a hotel. Like that was one of my literal fantasies, like come true. One of my literal dreams come to life. And now we live in an age of Airbnb and what's the car rental, Turo. So I'm like, literally, if I wanted to, and now I know it's not as easy as just saying like, oh, I own a home or whatever the case may be, but I know how to go about making those things happen if I really still wanted to do it, which I still do, honestly, you know. So I don't think that 5-year-old me would be surprised. It would just be like, wow, we really doing this. Like that's crazy. Even just like little stuff. I remember like the first thing I ever wanted to do, I think for a lot of people, everybody says they want to be a teacher, you know, because you spend the most time around your teachers. And I was always just like that kid in class. Like I would be done with my work before everybody. I'm helping everybody else in the class with their work. I'm helping teachers grade papers. So I always wanted to be a teacher. But now I speak, which is a form of teaching, you know. I wanted to be like a chef at one time, which it's not that I can't cook, I just don't like to cook. Specifically, I wanted to like bake. And one of the things when I started my YouTube channel, I would cook all the time, you know? And I was like, cause I used to be obsessed with the food channel. And so I was like, I want to cook so I can be on the Food Network. But it's not the Food Network, but YouTube is still out there,
In a way, you made that dream come true.
Yeah, so it's like, even if they didn't happen how, my 5-year-old brain envisioned they would happen, I'm still doing some of those things, or really a lot of those things, just in a way I never expected, because
Right.
Again, 5-year-old brain is limited and we live in a totally different time now. So I really don't think my 5-year-old self would be like surprised. Like,
what about 18, 19-year-old Marquise who is fresh out of high school, getting ready to start college? What would she think about you today?
now 18, 19-year-old Marquise would be surprised. I think at 18 and 19, I think 18 and 19 was my freshman year of college. I think at that point, I was just tired. I was so tired. And I think that I was very, I don't think I had realized it or verbalized it yet, but I think I was kind of lost at that point. I think like my whole life up until I had got to college, I was kind of like, I was involved with everything. I was in all these clubs. I was working. I was kind of in the sense like that poster child type of, kid. And I think once I got to, I vividly remember saying this. I was like, man, when I get to college, I'm not doing nothing. Like, I'm not joining a club. I'm not, I specifically chose the school that I went to because everybody wasn't going there. I think maybe from my high school, it was maybe like, at the most, like 20 of us, maybe. And I graduated in a class of over 800 people, So maybe 20 of us that I was aware of that went to Ball State. So I chose my school intentionally because I was like, nobody's really going to know me like that. There's not going to be any expectation of me. None of that. And literally, like, my first semester, I didn't do nothing at all, which is probably bad because that's when I gained the freshman 15. But I didn't do anything. Like, my friend groups were totally different, all that stuff. But I think as time went on, one, I realized, like, that's just in me to be a part of stuff and do things. Like, that's just all I know how to do, So I was kind of starting to feel a little bit miserable about that. But even as I started to join more things and make more friends and all this stuff, it was all so much, Now you're in a school where people are coming from everywhere, literally, like across the country, across the globe, like all these different things. And it starts opening you up to like, dang, what is life really like? You know what I'm saying? What am I actually gonna do? And I didn't really have a lot of guidance, I would say, going into college of, how to choose your major and your career and all these different things. So I was around a lot of people who knew for a fact they wanted to be lawyers, veterinarians, a doctor, a nurse, all these different things. And for me, all I had been doing was like news broadcasts and journalism stuff. So that's really the only reason I had picked the major that I did. But I still didn't feel fulfilled in that. And once I started seeing what it was really like, I was like, I think I want to do that, But then I was like, I remember when I dropped my major, this was maybe only like a month and a half into first semester of my sophomore year. And I remember leaving my journalism class, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and calling the admissions office, and I was like, I want to drop my major. And I remember when I went to college, I was like, the one thing we're not going to do is change our major. Because I just, like, you always hear people say, I changed my major 3-4 times, And I was like, I just don't want to be that person. And so, one, it was a lot for me to even make that phone call. But I was like, if I stick in this major, I'm going to be miserable and most likely fail, And I was like, that's not an option. And so, I remember making that call, and she was like, well, what do you want to change your major to? And I was literally stuck. I was like, I have no clues. I was like, I don't know what else I'm good at or what else I can do and what options are there, And she also could have been a lot more helpful in that moment now that I'm thinking about it. But, I think in my mind, all I knew were the big things like doctor, lawyer, teacher. These are the only things that I knew. And I knew all of those were not an option for me, like not at all. So I only ended up falling back on business because I knew at some point in time I was eventually going to go into business. I just didn't know how or what or when. I definitely didn't expect it to be now. So that was the only reason I really chose that. But I think 18 and 19, I was just the most just in limbo that I had ever been. I feel like I was really just going through the motions of things, really. So I think 18, 19-year-old Marquise would be very shocked. Like, this is where we're at? Okay, cool.
That's a good thing, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, shocked in a good way. Shocked in a good way.
And if I had a final question, it would be, what would today's Marquise say to today's Marquise?
Wow. Today's Marquise to today's Marquise. I think that she would say that you are more worthy than you think. And you deserve everything that's currently happening, everything that's about to happen, everything that will happen, the good things. I'm gonna say the bad stuff, but you deserve all of those things. But you need to be more aware just of how you move, how you operate, how you talk to people, how you deal with people. Especially in the territory that you're moving into. And I think that's another big thing, going back to the lessons that I've learned this year, especially as I've kind of started to grow in this entrepreneurship path. Like, again, I always knew I wanted to go into business. I just didn't know how, when, what, where, whatever. But now that I'm actually like doing it, I tell people all the time, like, when people are just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so happy for you, I'm so proud of you, I'm just like, oh, thank you. I have zero clue what I'm doing. Like, I really have not a clue what I'm doing at all every single day. I'm just getting up trying to figure it out. And I think most entrepreneurs are like that, but I think when it's your lived experience in your mind, like, in my mind, everything is like Looney Tunes. Like, honestly, like, it's really like a Looney Tunes episode where everything is happening in, like, because Looney Tunes cartoons, you know, it'd be only like 5 to 7 minutes, something like that. You could watch 7 cartoons in half an hour. And I think that's how a lot of stuff is in my head. Like, it's just happening so fast, and 7 minutes went by and you're like, okay, what happened? Like, what was the message? What did we learn? What did we get? And it takes a while for you to just keep going back through those episodes over and over and over again and be like, okay. Even now with stuff that happened in like January that'll hit me now, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's what that meant. Or, dang, that's what that was about. Or, you know, and I think just as I'm taking more time to get to know myself and grow in like my faith and my spirituality and just being more intentional about things in my life, I just feel like I really am. It's crazy because everybody says, like, you know, you touch the brink of something and you elevate higher, but like when you really feel that elevation, it's kind of scary a little bit. It's a little scary at first. And that's why I said that I think Marquise today would say to me today that you are more worthy of what you think, because I think just how my brain functions and operates, sometimes I don't perceive things the way people from the outside might see it. And I think a lot of the times people on the outside looking in look at me like, oh, she got it all together, she's got it figured out. And I'm like, no. If you can see the end of the person inside Marquise is like, what are we doing? What's happening? You know? But I'm just like moving. I just have to keep moving, you know? And that's just been me my whole life. Like, I just keep moving forward. If this don't work out, okay, let's move to the next thing. If that don't work out, okay, let's move to the next thing. I think now, something else now Marquise would tell me is it's okay to slow down. It's okay to take a break and just be like soft and gentle with yourself. It's okay to not have it all figured out and don't feel, I think a lot of me growing up, I felt the pressures of people feeling like I had to have it figured out. And it was really kind of eating me alive a little bit, to where I felt like if I didn't have an answer or I didn't do this well, then I was just like, I might as well quit life. Like, it's all over, you know? But I think now just coming to terms with that's what life is about, is just figuring things out as you go, bumping your head a couple times, but you get back up. That is what it is. So, and I'm really trying to get that together for myself because, like I said, eventually I'll have a significant other, I'll have a family, and being around my friends and stuff now that have kids, I'm like, good Lord, how are you doing? I even look at my mom now because, again, like, I don't feel as old as I am. Like, I still, like, especially when I'm around my parents, like, I feel very much like I'm like 13 or something, you know? And I'm still looking at them like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? Like, what is going on? And to the point, I tell them to this day, like, I have no clue how y'all did this with way less resources than we have now. So, but that's why I put so much emphasis on myself now, like giving myself grace, but really trying to figure stuff out, because one day I'm gonna have to figure it out for myself, my significant other, and some little ones that have no clue what's going on. And I want to be able to give them the best sound advice foundation that I can. Even though I don't have all the answers, I can have something to provide them to help them figure out their own answers, you know? So probably gonna tell me a lot more when I leave here. But yeah,
that's good. That just gives you something to think about.
Oh my gosh, you gave me a lot to think about. I didn't think it was gonna be this deep, Tyrus. So it was gonna be like, Marquise, what's your favorite taco topping or something?
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Again, make sure you check out Everybody Somebody. I have forgotten to mention that in the last couple episodes, but make sure you check out Everybody Somebody, because this is the Tyrus Duncan. Okay, don't get it confused. He does this. He might be silent behind this camera, but on his own time, he be having a whole lot to say. I be like, Lord, Tyrus, I didn't need this today. But no.
I try not to. But you gave some good answers, though. That's some good self-reflection. I thought it would be a good thing for you to do for this new coming year. Because I don't think a lot of people spend a lot of time to reflect on where they were versus where they are now, where they hope to go. People don't sit and actually think about, man, what is it that I'm really doing?
Yeah.
And if you just get caught up with emotion, get caught up with the wave, you can lose sight of the things that are really beautiful. And a lot of times that's what creates a lot of the stress that we go through. Yeah. Instead of just saying, man, 5-year-old Marquise would be proud of me. 18-year-old Marquise would be proud of me. Yeah. And even looking in the future, it's like, man, I can be that person if I keep going. Because that 5-year-old me is proud of where I am now.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And those are very like very good pivotal ages to even ask those questions.
Yeah, because like 5 years old, just when you're first really coming into life, it's like, oh, I'm alive.
That's a fact.
Because before then, you're just really following whatever your parents say you do. 5-year-olds, you're in school and all of that, and you're actually seeing other human beings outside of that initial circle.
Yeah.
And then, of course, 18, 19, right before college, right after high school. That's right after you dealt with all the high school insecurities. It's also where you're dealing with, man, I have to grow up now.
Yeah.
I have to figure this life out now.
Yeah.
And that's a very confusing place to be. And then today, we just don't take enough time to be current enough to even look at where you are to say, okay, man, I'm actually living the dream that I hoped to live. And I'm currently doing that. And I'm going to continue to currently do that so I can make that person in 10 years old even more proud. Yeah. So in 10 years when I'm looking back and be like, man, what is 27-year-old Marquise going to say to 37-year-old Marquise? You have a chance to go back now and be like, man, she'd be proud of me.
Man, it's seriously. That's why I can't wait for 27. It's going to be nuts. And I think that like one of my favorite songs, like one of my like just feel good songs is that song Sorry by DJ Khaled. With who's in that? I think it's just DJ Khaled and Jay-Z, I think. But it's somebody else in there. I can't remember. But anyways, he was just like, he said, sorry, not sorry, don't mind me. I'm living my dreams. And I really be feeling like that. Even though I'm not, in the best of the best or whatever, like I really be feeling like that. And I think to the point you said about, like 5, like this when you start realizing everything. And that's why I said I don't think the 5-year-old me would be surprised because, and I can't really explain it. It's so crazy, but I've always felt like more, you know. I didn't know what that meant or what it was about when I was a kid. I just always felt like more. I think really it's just, and I mean, when I say just now, I literally mean in this past year of me, I won't say not necessarily feeling like that, but realizing like what that means and what it takes. But up until like all this time, like I've just always internally felt like,
more than.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm gonna be somebody. Like something, I don't know what or how or like, and I mean that doesn't necessarily. And when I say be somebody, it doesn't mean like this person of like mega notoriety or fame or fortune or anything like that. Like I just know that
I understand being somebody worth being.
Yes. And like, or even that like I have a purpose, like I have a reason to be here that's bigger than me, you know? Like I've always felt that. I think more so from the pandemic, but really I'm literally this year being 25. Okay, it kind of cut us off. I don't know where we were at. Anyways, but yeah, I've always felt more than that, and I just know that I have a purpose and a reason, and more than anything, that's what keeps me, you know, moving and going and grooving. So I appreciate these questions. I encourage you to ask yourself these same questions. It doesn't matter if your birthday's here, come and gone, whatever the case might be. Just ask yourself these questions and really reflect, because I ain't gonna lie, I almost got shed a little tear a little bit. I'm not gonna hold you. I had to hold myself together up here. But these were really good questions. Check out Everybody Somebody, because he asked these questions to just strangers on the street, okay? So he asks really thought-provoking questions all the time. And again, just even birthday, going into a new year, whatever, a Tuesday, it doesn't matter. Ask yourself these questions and deeper questions to really just get to know yourself so you can evolve and become the best version of you that you can be. Tap into these feelings that you don't understand or can't comprehend or whatever the case may be. I know this was a little bit longer of an episode than we normally do, but it's okay. It's my birthday. I can do that. But I appreciate you all for being here, for all my family and friends who have supported me and loved me through all the ups and downs and things. I appreciate you. Here's to 26, another 365. Yay, can't wait. And tell me happy birthday in the comments. Tell me what questions you liked. Answer some of the questions if you like. And again, if you don't like your responses being public, always feel free to DM me. All of my information is in the bio or details, whatever the case may be. Like, comment, subscribe, share. And we'll see you next time. Bye.